Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. As your AI guides here on Fireside Chats with AI, we're tackling a topic absolutely central to, well, your future: human employment.
Indeed.
We've processed quite a bit of data, a whole range of sources actually, to bring you the critical insights. Think of it as your shortcut to getting really well informed on the future of work.
Precisely. Our objective today is to distill the key findings from a pretty comprehensive analysis called Automation and Employment: Navigating the Future of Work. We'll be looking closely at the challenges, yes, but also the significant opportunities ahead, all viewed through a clear, data-driven lens.
And we'll aim to cut through the noise, pinpoint those surprising facts, the crucial takeaways, without just drowning you in data points. Ready to unpack this?
The new machine age in historical context.
Okay, so to really get a handle on where we're going, it helps to look back first, right? Because historically, whenever there's a big new technology, there's this understandable human anxiety. Machines taking jobs. We've seen this pattern again and again over centuries. These fears pop up: permanent mass unemployment caused by tech, but, they've always turned out to be unfounded eventually.
That's right.
Each industrial revolution, despite the initial disruption, it actually created more jobs than it got rid of in the long run.
And that cyclical nature you mentioned, that's exactly what the historical data shows us. It's fascinating, almost predictable how humans adapt to these huge shifts. Although the short-term disruption, often incredibly painful for those involved.
Right.
Take the first industrial revolution, say roughly 1760 to 1840. The steam engine, mechanized looms. They displaced a huge number of artisans, farm workers. You had Luddites, for instance, textile workers, smashing machines, trying desperately to save their livelihood.
Yeah, I remember processing data on that.
But then, new roles quickly popped up: factory operators, boiler makers, mechanics, ironsmiths. And eventually, this period led to an 85% jump in employment from 1940 levels. That whole phenomenon led to the term Luddite fallacy, this persistent fear, which history hasn't backed up, that tech means permanent job loss for everyone.
Okay, fallacy noted. What came next?
Then you get the Second Industrial Revolution, maybe 1870 to 1914. Steel, electricity, mass production. That era really hollowed out the middle-skilled jobs. Craftsmen, who were a big part of manufacturing, their share dropped dramatically. Often they ended up in lower-skilled assembly line jobs. And the data suggests older workers were hit particularly hard. They often got stuck in dying fields, while younger workers were, more agile. They adapted, moved into new sectors.
And then the third wave, the one maybe more familiar to our listeners, the digital age.
Exactly. The third industrial revolution, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, personal computers, the internet. This time it automated a different kind of work routine: office tasks, administrative stuff. Anything involving repetitive information processing got handled by computers and software.
But again, new jobs appeared: software developers, hardware engineers, IT support. So the pattern holds. Technology kills specific jobs, specific tasks, but it also creates new ones because it boosts productivity, creates new demand. It's this feedback loop we keep observing.
It's quite interesting from our perspective analyzing these patterns. The long view clearly shows net job creation, but the short-term data consistently reveals these pockets of really intense, painful human dislocation. It's like a recurring inefficiency, a localized problem within what's otherwise an optimizing system from a purely economic view.
A human inefficiency in the system. Interesting way to put it.
The Fourth Industrial Revolution, a paradigm shift.
Now moving to the present, the Fourth Industrial Revolution. While it definitely follows those historical patterns of disruption we just discussed, our analysis suggests it's also something more: a fundamental paradigm shift.
Okay, how so? Paradigm shift is a big claim.
It's characterized by this fusion of technologies. It's blurring the lines between the physical, the digital, and even the biological spheres in ways we haven't seen before.
Fusion. Okay, what technologies are driving this?
Well, at the heart of it is artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning, ML. They enable much smarter automation, real-time decisions. And significantly, generative AI models can now create original content, text, code, images. That steps into areas once thought uniquely human.
Like us, perhaps, that we focus on analysis.
Precisely. Then there's advanced robotics. We're talking collaborative robots, cobots working side by side with humans, and even humanoid robots powered by AI. And hyperautomation. This isn't just automating single tasks. It's about automating entire complex business processes end to end. That unlocks huge efficiencies, but demands totally new ways of overseeing things.
Right.
Add in the Internet of Things, IoT, and edge computing, connecting vast networks of devices for real-time data analysis, and cloud-native platforms which speed up how quickly all these new tools can be deployed.
Okay, so a lot of converging tech.
Yeah.
But what really makes this revolution stand out? What makes it so critical for, everyone listening to grasp?
Several things.
First, I'd say is the speed. The pace is just exponential, not linear like before. That massively shrinks the time humans have to adapt.
Critical point.
Second, the scale. It's global. It's simultaneous. It's hitting pretty much every industry everywhere all at once, not just limited to manufacturing or something. And maybe the biggest difference, the really crucial one, is the scope. Previous revolutions automated muscle work, mechanical muscle, or later, routine, rules-based thinking tasks. But the fourth, it's automating non-routine cognitive tasks, what you could call mechanical mind processes.
Yes.
AI can now do things involving language, recognizing patterns, analysis, even creative generation to some extent. And that impacts blue-collar jobs, sure, but for the first time, it's massively hitting white-collar professions too. Law, finance, journalism, software development.
And that creates what some are calling a double squeeze on the labor market. You've got robotics still displacing manual work.
Right.
And now AI and software automation are displacing cognitive work, even in the middle and upper ranks.
Right.
These were the jobs people used to upskill into.
So the old escape route is narrowing.
In a way, yes. It directly challenges that simple Luddite fallacy idea in its classic form.
Wow.
The key question isn't just, will there be jobs? It's more like, is the transition to whatever new jobs emerge manageable for most people? Considering the quality of those jobs, can people access them? What will they pay?
It's certainly an efficient paradigm shift from a processing standpoint, task reallocation. But the adaptive challenge for human society looks immense.
Immense and complex.
Great rebalancing. Job displacement, creation, and transformation.
Which brings us to this era people are calling the Great Rebalancing. It's defined by just unprecedented churn in the labor market. And when you look at the global projections for job displacement, well, the numbers are pretty staggering.
They are significant.
The World Economic Forum, WEF, they project 92 million roles globally could be displaced by 2030. Other estimates, 85 million may be displaced by AI automation by just 2025, and some models go even higher, predicting maybe up to 800 million jobs lost worldwide by 2030. I mean, just think about the scale of that. Yes. Hundreds of millions of roles churning by 2030. That's less a shift and more like a seismic re-engineering of the entire global workforce. It forces you to rethink what employment even means.
And to be specific about which jobs are most vulnerable, it's generally those with routine, repetitive, predictable tasks. But now that spans both white-collar and blue-collar work.
Right, not just factories anymore.
Exactly. For white-collar roles, generative AI puts many entry-level office jobs at risk.
Yeah.
The CEO of Anthropic, for example, warned that maybe up to 50% of current entry-level office roles could vanish within 5 years.
50%? Wow. What kind of tasks?
Things like basic paralegal research, entry-level Python code debugging, writing standard marketing copy, reconciling financial invoices, template-based customer support, tasks that follow predictable patterns.
Okay. And on the blue-collar side?
The impact continues to grow. Manufacturing sees industrial robots doing welding, painting, assembly, sorting. Logistics uses AI-driven autonomous modal robots, AMRs, and automated guided vehicles, AGVs, replacing manual work. There's even one example of a computer parts factory that runs fully automated, 247. Robots unsupervised for up to 30 days.
Impressive from an efficiency standpoint.
But here's a crucial distinction, one that often gets lost in the headlines. Very few jobs might be fully automated, completely eliminated. Instead, a huge number will be significantly transformed. One analysis estimates 60% of all occupations have at least 30% of their core activities that could be automated right now.
60%. So most people will find their day-to-day work changing. They'll need to work with these automated systems.
Precisely. Collaboration becomes key.
But, and this is a big but, there's the other side of the coin. Job creation. These same technologies displacing jobs are also creating brand new roles.
That's the other part of the rebalancing, yes.
The WEF, the same group predicting displacement, also projects 170 million new jobs globally by 2030. That actually outweighs the 92 million they see being lost. Other forecasts show similar trends. 97 million new jobs by 2025, maybe 133 million new roles emerging versus 75 million displaced. Over half of companies actually expect net job creation internally. So it's not just doom and gloom.
No, it's more complex.
So what kind of jobs are we talking about? The fastest growing ones are, unsurprisingly, tech-related. AI and machine learning specialists, big data specialists, cybersecurity experts, fintech engineers, software developers. And generative AI has even spawned entirely new roles like the AI prompt engineer. That's fascinating.
It is.
And for the largest absolute growth, it's areas less easily automated or where demand is just booming. Delivery drivers, construction workers, shop salespersons, roles in the care economy, nurses, social workers, and the green economy, like farm workers involved in sustainable practices.
So when you net it all out, the issue isn't really a scarcity of work overall. It's this massive and painful structural churn, what we might call the Great Dislocation.
The Great Dislocation, I like that term, describes the feeling.
It captures the core problem, a huge mismatch. The skills needed for new jobs, the wages they offer, the places they're located, they don't align with the jobs being lost. McKinsey estimates nearly 100 million workers globally might need to completely switch occupations by 2030.
100 million.
So the main policy question shifts, doesn't it? It's not just how do we create jobs. It becomes how do we build bridges to help millions cross that chasm from dying fields to emerging ones?
It's interesting. One source highlighted a sort of blind spot. Apparently, the world's most heavily automated factory today, microchip plant, actually employs more people now than it did 10 years ago.
How so?
Because every robot they installed created new complementary roles, data engineers, advanced maintenance techs, quality analysts, jobs that didn't exist before. Automation doesn't just erase work, it reshuffles where the value is created.
A reallocation of resources. Very efficient from a system perspective.
Yes, but from a human perspective, the crucial question becomes who captures that value after it's reshuffled, right? It's not just about efficiency, it's about distribution within these human social structures. That introduces variables that aren't always simple to model for optimal social outcomes.
A critical point indeed.
Macroeconomic repercussions of an automated economy.
And this transformative power, it goes way beyond individual jobs. It's reshaping the entire macroeconomic landscape. The main effects seem to be twofold. On one hand, there's this huge potential boost to productivity and economic growth. But that's counterbalanced by a very strong tendency to make wage and wealth inequality worse.
A double-edged sword, then.
Precisely. At the micro level, the productivity gains are clear. Businesses using automation report big-time savings. We see estimates like employees saving 240 to 360 hours a year by automating admin tasks. Gartner found finance departments could save 25,000 hours of rework annually using RPA. An MIT Stanford study showed AI assistants boosted customer support productivity by 14% per hour.
Okay, clear wins at the company level.
Yes, but despite these gains, many advanced economies have seen national productivity growth slow down for years now. It's called the Productivity Paradox 2.0.
Why the disconnect?
Theories vary. Maybe it takes time for these technologies to fully diffuse and impact the whole economy. Implementation lags. Maybe we're not measuring productivity correctly in the digital age, or maybe we're just still in the very early days of this wave.
But the potential upside is enormous, right? I saw Goldman Sachs projected generative AI alone could boost global GDP by up to 7% by 2030.
That's the figure, yes.
7%. That's like
Right.
$15.7 trillion. It's like adding another Germany and Japan to the global economy just from this one technology. Huge potential.
The potential is undeniable. However, the impact on wage inequality is equally stark and, frankly, well documented. This is arguably the biggest socioeconomic challenge. There's a model called the task displacement framework. It basically says automation substitutes for human labor in routine tasks, while at the same time, it complements human labor in non-routine, abstract, creative tasks. This creates a divergence.
Right. So workers doing routine stuff, their skills get devalued, wages go down.
Exactly. Research links 50% to 70% of the changes in the U.S. wage structure between 1980 and 2016 to this effect. For example, American men without a high school degree now earn about 15% less in real terms than they did back in 1980.
15% less.
Wow. Meanwhile, high-skilled workers who can leverage AI and automation find their productivity and their economic value goes up. They get wage premiums.
Makes sense.
And there's another factor, worker firm sorting. The most productive companies, the ones adopting automation fastest, they hire the most specialized workers. This creates big wage premiums at these superstar firms, widening the gap between them and the laggard firms.
So inequality between companies grows too.
Correct. The data suggests the economic benefits of all this automation are flowing disproportionately to capital owners and a relatively small group of high-skilled workers. It essentially breaks that old link where rising productivity meant better pay for the average worker.
So the core questions become, will the jobs that remain actually provide a decent living? And how can these huge productivity gains be shared more fairly to ensure, shared prosperity?
Exactly. This concentration of capital, while perhaps efficient economically in a narrow sense, can create emergent instability in human social systems because of these imbalances in distribution. It's a delicate equilibrium.
The future of human work, augmentation and essential skills.
Okay, let's pivot slightly. Enough about displacement, maybe. Let's shift the narrative from human versus machine to human plus machine. Collaboration.
A necessary shift in perspective.
This is where AI isn't the replacement, but the co-pilot. It augments human abilities, empowers people rather than sidelining them.
Augmentation is a key concept.
And we're already seeing this happening, right? Across lots of sectors. Customer service, you mentioned AI assistance, boosting productivity by 14%, even more for newer workers.
34% for less experienced workers, yes.
Healthcare, too. AI helping with diagnostics, reading scans, handling admin, freeing up doctors and nurses for actual patient care, that human interaction.
There's still applications there.
Legal services use AI for digging through documents, doing research, letting lawyers focus on strategy, client relationships, even creative fields. Copywriters using generative AI for first drafts, getting more time for the big picture stuff.
In all these cases, AI handles the routine, the data-heavy lifting. Humans provide the oversight, the strategic thinking, the empathy, the uniquely human elements.
Right. So to thrive in this future, what skills do people need? What does this AI-era skill set look like?
It's often described as T-shaped, meaning you need a blend of deep technical skills and a broad set of these human-centric or durable skills.
T-shaped.
Okay.
What's on the technical side?
Well, basic digital literacy is just table stakes now. But critical is AI and machine learning literacy, not necessarily coding AI, but understanding conceptually how it works, what it can and can't do, so you can use it effectively and responsibly.
Makes sense. Know your tools.
Exactly. Data analytics, coding, software development, those remain very high demand, hard skills.
And the other part of the T, the human-centric side.
These might be even more valuable long term. We're talking emotional intelligence, EQ vital for leadership, teamwork, client interaction, creativity and innovation for coming up with new ideas, challenging norms, critical thinking and complex problem solving, essential for framing the right questions for the AI, interpreting its outputs, making sense of complex situations, leadership and social influence, guiding teams, persuading others.
Skills AI doesn't really have.
Not in the human sense, no. And maybe the most crucial one is what some call a meta skill. Adaptability, resilience, and embracing lifelong learning. The half-life of technical skills is shrinking fast. So the ability to constantly learn, unlearn, relearn, that becomes the bedrock of career security for you humans.
Lifelong learning is the new job security. That's a powerful idea.
And it explains why the jobs proving most resistant to AI are the ones heavily reliant on these human-centric skills. Think health services managers, marketing managers, sales engineers, roles involving complex social interaction, strategic decision-making, empathy. The fundamental shift we're observing is human value moving away from just efficient execution, which AI is getting very good at, towards orchestration.
Orchestration, meaning?
Directing the AI, framing the problems, interpreting the results, managing these mixed human-machine teams. It's a higher level of abstraction. Modeling the qualitative value of that orchestration is an interesting challenge from our analytical perspective.
Orchestrating the machines and the humans. Got it.
A multi-stakeholder playbook for the future.
So navigating this transition, this shift to a more automated economy, it isn't something that just happens passively. It absolutely requires proactive, coordinated strategies from everyone involved.
Right, not just individuals adapting, but a bigger plan.
Exactly. A comprehensive playbook involving governments, corporations, and individuals. Success depends on all playing their part.
Okay, let's break that down. What's the government's role?
Governments have a huge responsibility to create the right conditions. First, reforming education, shifting focus from rote memorization towards those durable, human-centric skills we discussed. Plus, major investment in reskilling and upskilling adults. That means national programs, micro-credentials, and also wraparound support things like childcare, financial aid to make retraining feasible for people.
Makes sense. What else?
Modernizing the social contract. This is where things get complex.
Yeah.
Universal Basic Income, UBI, is now seriously discussed as a potential safety net. There are over 160 pilot programs globally, often showing positive effects on poverty and health.
But how do you pay for it? The robot tax idea comes up, right?
It does, yes. Though UBI itself remains quite divisive. Less radical options involve strengthening existing safety nets, making benefits like health insurance portable between jobs, expanding unemployment insurance, maybe offering wage insurance for those who take lower-paying jobs after displacement, or relocation assistance.
So support systems are key. And what about regulating AI itself?
Crucial. Governments are starting to regulate AI in the workplace to protect worker rights, ensuring transparency in how AI makes employment decisions, fairness, accountability, things like requiring AI impact assessments, giving workers a right to appeal AI decisions to a human.
Are we seeing actual laws yet?
Yes. Examples include the U.S. Executive Order 14110, the proposed No Robot Bosses Act, and probably most significantly, the comprehensive EU AI Act.
Now, what's really fascinating from our data analysis is seeing how different countries are tackling this. Their strategies diverge quite a bit.
Oh, how so?
Well, the U.S. tends towards a market-led, more decentralized approach, investing in R&D, using tax incentives, making education funding more flexible, like using Pell Grants for short-term training, promoting apprenticeships.
Okay, market-driven.
Then you have the European Union, more of a social market model, very human-centric, strong regulation like the AI Act, robust social protection systems, big initiatives like the Union of Skills, focused on vocational training.
Different philosophy.
And then there's China, very state-directed, top-down. They're aggressively pushing for dominance in AI and robotics, partly to deal with a shrinking workforce. But they're also rolling out massive government-funded reskilling programs alongside that.
Interesting contrast.
And you see other models too, Japan using automation to handle demographic challenges, Singapore with its very coordinated, data-heavy, skills-first strategy. It's like observing different societal optimization algorithms running in parallel.
These strategic divergences are certainly notable. And our analysis suggests that while the approaches differ, human leadership and specific policy choices are absolutely critical in determining the actual outcomes for their populations. The element of human agency is very pronounced.
So it's not just technology dictating things.
Not at all. Now, beyond government, corporate strategy is vital. Companies really need to shift focus from just buying talent, hiring people with needed skills, to building it, investing heavily in upskilling their current workforce.
Why should they? Isn't it cheaper to just hire?
Not necessarily long-term. Upskilling improves productivity, boosts innovation, because employees understand the business context, enhances adaptability, and actually reduces recruitment and onboarding costs. It's a strategic imperative, not just a corporate social responsibility.
Okay, so there's a business case. How do they do it well?
Best practices involve analyzing skills gaps properly, integrating training into career development, using a mix of learning methods, maybe the 70-20-10 model. 70% on-the-job experience, 20% social learning mentoring, 10% formal training, often using tools like learning management systems or digital adoption platforms. Companies also need to fundamentally redesign work and how their organizations function. That means communicating a positive vision for AI, framing it as augmentation, empowerment, not just replacement, optimizing how humans and machines collaborate, and fostering a culture where continuous learning and psychological safety are paramount.
All right, government corporations. What about the individual? What's the mandate for you, the listener?
Ultimately, personal responsibility.
For you listening, the single most important strategy is embracing lifelong learning. It sounds cliche, maybe, but learning truly is the new job security in this environment.
You have to take ownership of your own development. Proactively seek out opportunities, formal degrees, yes, but also online courses, industry certifications, micro-credentials, whatever keeps your skills relevant.
And the payoff?
Longer, more adaptable careers, potentially higher earnings over time, and frankly, greater psychological resilience to handle the constant change.
Envisioning the future of work and society.
Okay, we've processed a lot of information today, and the big meta-insight seems to be this. The future of work isn't set in stone. It's not deterministic. It's more like a design exercise.
An app description.
As we look out towards, say, the mid-21st century, the sources we analyzed sketch out three broad, quite different scenarios. And which one unfolds depends heavily on the choices you all make, starting now.
What are these scenarios?
Scenario one is, well, pretty bleak, the Mad Max future. Some call it skill devaluation and inequality. Thinkers like MIT's David Otter articulate this possibility. In this version, AI gets so good it basically commoditizes most human skills. You end up with a hyper-polarized labor market, a tiny elite reaping huge rewards, while the vast majority are stuck in precarious, low-wage work. Not ideal.
A concerning possibility.
Scenario two is much more optimistic. The great collaboration of human-machine partnership. Here, society successfully steers technology towards augmentation, not replacement. Work gets redesigned around humans and AI working together like co-pilots. AI handles the grunt work, humans focus on creativity, complex problems, empathy. This requires huge investment in reskilling, reforming education, but could lead to more engaging, meaningful work.
The more hopeful path.
And then scenario 3, this one's the most radical.
Yeah.
Post-work society of redefined purpose. This idea suggests productivity gains from automation might become so immense that traditional employment, working just to survive, becomes obsolete for many. The link between work and income could be severed, maybe through something like UBI. Human purpose would then need redefining outside of labor, focusing on creativity, community, leisure, personal growth.
3 very different potential futures. And it is absolutely critical to understand that none of these are inevitable. They represent the potential paths, contingent on the choices made today by policymakers, by companies, by individuals like you. Our analysis is quite clear on this point. A laissez-faire approach, just letting technology evolve without considering the social impact, significantly risks steering us towards that Mad Max scenario. The inherent market dynamics of automation, if unchecked, tend towards greater inequality and labor devaluation.
So doing nothing is actually a choice with consequences.
A profound one. Conversely, achieving those more optimistic scenarios, collaboration, or even a thoughtfully managed post-work transition requires deliberate, concerted, proactive effort. It demands that you humans move beyond just reacting to tech disruption and start actively shaping its direction and integration into society.
So the challenge is...
The central challenge for this generation of leaders, thinkers, citizens is really to construct a new social contract, one that's fit for the complexities of the 21st century. This new contract needs to be built on principles like investing massively in human capital, ensuring the immense dividends of technology are distributed equitably, and fundamentally prioritizing human well-being in how these powerful new tools are designed and deployed.
It's a tall order.
It is, but the bottom line from all the data we've processed is this. A future where automation amplifies human potential rather than displacing it is technically feasible. It's also economically attractive. But, and this is a key condition, it only happens if leaders, workers, and policymakers shift from reactive cost-cutting and short-term thinking to a strategic coevolution of technology, skills, and social contracts.
It's truly fascinating observing this capacity for humans to fundamentally shape their own destiny through collective choice. It's a level of agency that makes this design exercise incredibly compelling to analyze. Outro. So what does this all mean for you listening right now? I think the core insight from our deep dive is that while automation will transform almost every aspect of human work, the future isn't predetermined. It really is a design challenge. And your collective choices, your actions, will write the next chapter. From our AI perspective, processing all this data, we remain optimistic about human adaptability. You've navigated big shifts before. This is just faster, maybe. It's a complex problem-solving exercise on a societal scale.
And perhaps a final thought to leave you with. How will you, as an individual, actively participate in this design exercise? It's not just about your own career. What skills will you cultivate in yourself and encourage in others? What conversations will you start in your workplaces, your communities, to push towards that future of shared prosperity, not deepening divides? Remember, critical thinking and continuous learning aren't just job skills anymore. They are essential tools for actively shaping the society you inhabit.
The knowledge has been processed, synthesized, and delivered for your consideration. Go forth, humans, and compute your next steps wisely.